We are live. We are live. Yes, yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, South Florida. I'm Robert Henderson, and this is Understanding Money.
On a Saturday morning in South Florida, right?
Good morning, South Florida. Yes, it
Yes,
is. Hi,
yeah.
how you doing, boy? I tell you, James T, my co-host, brother from another mother, Mr. James T, one and only South Florida finest,
It's a
best
beautiful
living
day.
legend.
Oh, come on, brother. Following in your footsteps, Rob. Following in your footsteps. Trying to keep up. As I
Man,
say with you and brother Bill Dozier. I tell you guys, man. Hey, y'all are great leaders to follow because
man.
I go back to the word where Miles Monroe told me. He said, "True leaders empower others."
Yes.
Hey, woo, brother. So I'm playing catch up, but I enjoy playing catch up between you and brother Bill. As a matter of fact, I spoke with him yesterday afternoon. He checked on me, and so make sure that everything was well. And
Yes.
all is well. For our viewers and listeners, we encourage you to join the chat and to make comments, ask questions, because the information that's being passed on, sometimes you're just checking in with us for the first time or you're not sure about something. Don't hesitate to ask the question or to make a comment. And more than that, I've been seeing everybody, Rob. Saw something on social yesterday where a gentleman was talking and he said, "Let me tell y'all something." He said, I know that there were 10 people that went to the polls and voted because I took them." And he said, Rob, and he said, "I'm taking 3 tomorrow." you know, he said, so it's not that I just voted. No, I took them. And he was so exciting and enthusiastic about it. But hey, I say to everybody, believe me, not to vote is a vote.
Yeah, man. I was talking
Choosing
to a
not
young
to
fella.
vote is
Hey, James, I was talking to a young fella, and I said, "Man, did you vote?" He said, "No, man, I don't fool with that mess." I said, "What are you saying?"
woo.
He said, "Man, it's all rigged. The people already know who they gonna get. Man, it don't make no difference. Matter of fact, either one of them win, and it still don't make no difference. So why should I vote?" I said, Hold on. I said, "Who told you that? Who told you that?
Yeah,
Social
where'd you go to get
media?
that information? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his brother was saying that. I said, man, what you mean it don't matter? I said, okay, look at it on the flip side. If it didn't matter, why you think they don't want you to vote then? If it's already rigged, why do you think in some rural areas people got to go 20 and 30 miles to vote because in their area they ain't no polls? I mean, they shut it down. They made it so hard. Why do you think they're making you go through obstacles? Why do you think the people, the brothers that just as whoever that people that went to jail and got out and served their time and did 10, 20 years and they come out, they don't let them vote. They got to pay taxes. They got to follow the law now, but they can't vote. I said, why do you think they make it like that if it don't count? If it didn't count, everybody just go vote. Anybody can vote. He said, man, I never thought about it like that. I said,
Ah.
because you lean on your own understanding. You don't have all the information. And just because you have all the information, you think you know it all. But how you know it all when you don't have all there is to know? He go, oh man. Isn't that something? How can you lean on your own understanding when there is so much that you don't know? You agree there's not you don't know. So therefore, you should be wide open and not closed minded to nothing. He said, Mr. Henderson, the way you put that, you're right. They are making it hard. They don't. I said people died so you can vote. They hung people. So why you think it don't count? Why you think it's rigged? If it was rigged, they wouldn't do all that. They wouldn't go through all that changing laws and districts and all that. He go, oh yeah. So then he showed me a picture the other day, a snapshot, him in line to vote.
Well,
I got
Rob, Rob, hey, Rob. I when I went, I don't know I don't know when it was. I don't know. Was it what's today? Friday. Today is Saturday. So last week or this week, whenever. And there was a line, Rob, and this was like midday. You know, And then the supervisors of elections for Palm Beach County, she was there walking around, no security, driving herself. I said, "Ooh, she might be bold up in here," But I don't think many of the people recognize who she was. But was checking in at the poll where we were voting. But it's so important that we share with others. They make the decision, the choice is theirs, but to share with others. And you don't have to go back and say, "Oh, this is what people did for us to have." No, hey, you've got to realize that if someone cares less about you than you care about yourself, because a lot of us don't care very much about ourselves, Rob.
That's
And,
true.
and you talk about that all the time because of the actions that we take. Now
It shows up.
we say we love ourselves, but we're not loving ourselves the way we ought to love ourselves. But nevertheless, please, folks, hey, encourage others to vote, but by all means, vote, 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 vote. And matter of fact, I had a call last evening asking questions. They said, because the judges are nonpartisan, supposedly, and they don't say whether they're Democrats or Republicans. But the question becomes on many of the ballots, should they stay in their seat? And I said, well, I'm not going to tell you whether to say yes or no, but here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Google them, since everybody is going, and then see who appointed them. I said, I think when you find out who appointed them, it will help you to make the decision as to whether you're going to vote that they should stay in their seat or that they should be out. And she said, "Oh, JT, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I was looking them up, and I said, hey, look them up. It's there. It'll tell you when they were appointed and who appointed them." I said, "And who do you think they're going to have allegiance to once they're appointed?" I said, "We see it before our very eyes. When one is appointed by someone, hey, they're going to uphold whatever opinion that appointee has."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's amazing how now that right there is something, man, to go before a judge. That's like the devil. Put no You don't even know it's the devil, and the devil's a judge.
Sitting there
You
looking at you, knowing what they're going to do, right?
right, and you don't know. You don't know. Isn't that something?
But Rob, and they don't care what facts you provide,
What you
what
say,
you say. They don't care about none of that. They're sitting there and said, "Hey, okay, I'll, hey,
you
question.
going to hell.
I,
I sent this you to hell.
I'll be
Yeah,
back for my decision."
that's right. That's right. You done paid all this money, did all your research, got all the facts, and they're like, okay, you don't know it's the devil because it just say judge. You know what I mean? Isn't that
Judge,
amazing?
ooh, here comes
And
the judge.
here come the judge,
Judge.
and you get sentenced. Well, you go straight to hell.
But Your Honor, we showed you that I'm not guilty. We're not worried about that. That's not important. That's not important to us.
Well,
The-
how could you do that? I'm the judge.
I'm the judge. Yeah.
And
And
what the
guess
judge
hey,
can go.
and guess what? You elected the person that selected me to be here.
Isn't that something?
Come on, Rob.
Hey, that's why the good book says, man, if whatever you do, try to stay out of court.
Along with getting understanding, get
Oh,
wisdom,
oh
knowledge, and
man.
understanding.
That's why that good book says, man, if you can refrain from going to a court with people and you got the devil as a judge, you better stay out of that judge. Don't break the law. Don't even tell my son, hey, why you gave him no time and gave me more time. Don't even ask that. Because he the judge. He the devil. A good book says stay out of court. Isn't that something?
Oh,
All right.
here we go, Rob. Let's get. Hey, by the way, let's say hello to Nail Mania, the Nail Spar. Oh, a big shout out. Brenda Brown is with us. Ms. Redhead is with us, and oh wow,
Aaron
Nail
Harris.
Mania said that what is it? I stood in line for an hour and another 30 minutes inside, regardless of the situation. VOTE. Vote.
That's right. You got to do it. This is big time, man. This is big time. And I told that young fella, he talking about, man, I ain't gonna have when I after I told him, I said, if you ain't gonna vote, why you think they don't want you to vote? If you don't think it matter, if you don't think it matter, they wouldn't they're voting, they make it real easy, but they're making it real hard. So that means it must matter. Things that you don't even know, things that you haven't even thought about, it matter. He said,
Matters.
Mr. Henderson, yeah, you're right. Let me go
Well,
vote. I said, yeah, go vote, you know?
well, I'm gonna post up my photo because I took a picture of the line that we were standing in, and so I guess I'm gonna do that too, Rob, and hope that somebody I'm gonna find some. Well, I've already talked with a lot of people, but I'm gonna find somebody who saying no, it doesn't matter, and I'm gonna say, okay, can I ride with you? Can you ride with me? I want to take you to the I want to take you to the polls. Yeah.
Yes. Hello, Joseph Corvell. How you doing, Norvik? How you doing, Norvik? Got to see you this week. Got to talk to you. I'll give you a call. Make sure everybody vote. You got to vote. It's very important. This thing is big, 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 big. We're gonna be all right either way it go. But you still need to do what you need to do. What you was called here to do. You got to help out. You got to be an asset. You can't just sit on the sidelines. You got to be active. This is your life. Really, this is your life, and it really does count, and it really does matter who your politicians are, who makes the rules, who makes the laws, because it really does affect you. And if you don't know it, you better ask somebody. A lot of people
Ooh,
got people
that's
got
a key.
people got stories.
We can share. So, Rob, last week you said that we were going to be discussing, oh my goodness, what is it, Mr. Henderson?
Debt, getting out of
Debt.
debt. Why
Ooh,
it's so important?
why is it? Why debt? Now, Rob, first, before you do that, you've got to remind us that there is what you call good debt and bad debt.
Yes, there's good debt and bad debt. So as a matter of fact, I was talking to a client last night, a young doctor out of Texas. And we were talking about this same very thing about good debt and bad debt. And let me give you an example. Good debt creates assets, creates more money. That's what good debt is. It creates it's leverage. It's taking what you got and using it to get more. And when I say that, I think because me as an advisor and where I look at things a little different. I look at a lot of things in pictures and metaphors and in nature. And when I just said that, a visual came in my head, James, and I thought about me fishing, which I don't know how to fish, but I thought about I don't know how to fish. Trust me. It takes a long time, and I figure I just go buy the fish. But anyway, that's another story. So I thought about me fishing, or anybody fishing. And when you fishing, you call a little brim, a little small fish, but you want something big. So oftentimes, a good fisherman may use a smaller fish and put it on the fishing pole to attract a bigger fish. When you look at that, that's the same concept of leveraging. That's the same concept. In other words, you have something, but you want to use what you have to get more. Does that make sense? But you
Oh,
gotta, but first you gotta have. You can't get the big fish if you just have a fishing pole with nothing on it,
with no bait.
with no bait.
No bait.
So you gotta have some. Having some is a metaphor of you being worth something. You having something. When I say have something, you can have talent. If you have
Woo!
talent, oh man. Oh,
Rob,
boy,
Rob,
let the
Rob,
church
Rob,
say
Rob, wait,
amen.
yeah, Rob, you can't go past that scripture. See, he blessed us with a gift. We were created with a plan, a purpose, and a promise. And we all have that. You didn't have to go to get a job to get that. When we came here, we have that. But what we do is we seek to do for for others what we should be doing for ourselves, and we want them to pay us. I'm telling, oh my goodness, I've had this conversation all this week with young people. As a matter of fact, walked in a store, Rob. We're working on a unit. Antonio came up yesterday and the day before, and so I needed a razor. to go in my thing to clean a window, take some things off of a window. And when I walked into the store, uh, the razors were $1.50. And so when I pulled out my money, I didn't have the 50 cent. I just had the dollar, and then I had tens behind. And I was with the razor in hand, I was trying to peel off the 10 for him to take. And I said, wow, this my money doesn't want to leave me. And he said, isn't that a good thing? I said, oh no, that's not a good thing. He said, what do you mean? I said, because in order for me to have it create more of itself, it has to leave me. I said, this $1.50 that I'm going to give you out of this 10 is going to help me make multiples $1.50s. I said multiple, and it's just a part of all the other that I'm going to give. And I said, remember one thing about this thing. I said, this is not just paper, it's a seed. And if you ever plant it in a good soil, it will produce of itself, whether it's a 1, a 10, 20, 50, 100, I don't care what it is. Put it in good soil. And he said, I never thought, going back to that other guy, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, most people don't. Most people don't. Wisdom and understanding, you have to keep your ears and eyes open so you can catch it and you can see how it works and understand it. So as I was saying, when you you got to have something, man. You got to have something. And the something, the creator created us, you, me, that to be the something. Now we got to use our something. Now, like I said, you could have talent to get more. What you do could bring more. Even when you go on your job, you like the little fish that's baiting to get more money. You showed up. You did something in order to get something. So good debt is having something to get more. So I give a perfect example. A question was asked of Elon Musk, richest man in the world, $130 billion net worth. That's a lot of money. So they said, Mr. Musk, we see that on your financial statement, you got a debt where you owe $50 million to someone. And he said, yes. And they said, well, $50 million, you got that right there. You can just take that and pay that off and owe nobody, be debt free. He says, yeah, I could do that, but I wouldn't be smart.
Woo.
I said, why that wouldn't be smart? You won't owe nobody. And the good book said, owe nobody. Well, he said, y'all understanding that wrong. Y'all looking at that wrong. See, you got to have something in order to get more. He says, okay, that $50 million that I owe that institution, they charge me 5% interest. I have $50 million. As a matter of fact, I got $100 billion. So they say, why are you paying 5% interest on a loan of 50 million? He said, because why would I take 50 million from somewhere else that's paying me 20% interest and eliminate that money, that 50 million, from getting 20% interest and use that money to pay off something that's only costing me 5% interest? And they say, oh, he said, I'm using leverage. I'm using other people's money to make more money. He said, I borrowed that 50 million because they were only going to charge me 5%. And I took their money and I put it over here, and somebody's giving me 20%. So I'm making 15% more than what I'm paying him.
Off of borrowed money.
And it's his money. So I borrowed his money and they charged me 5%. I took his 50 million and put it over here, and them people gonna give me 20%. So that's 15%. So after they give me 20%, I can take 5% and pay him. He good, but I'm getting 15% free. That's good debt. See, that's good that. The only way you can follow what I'm saying is you got to be thinking. And they said the hardest thing for humans, for mankind to do is to think. That's it. Listen, thinking, when you thinking, it doesn't involve your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your sister, your wife. Ain't had nothing to do. You can't blame nobody for the way you think. You can't say I'm thinking like this because I'm black. You can't say I'm thinking because I'm white. You can't say I'm thinking because I'm Spanish or Asian. No. Thinking is on what? You. Ain't nobody got that head between them ears but you. So you got a responsibility to do what? To think, not watch TV all day, not being social media all day, not looking at people pitching and they traveling and doing all that and what they got. No. Your job on this planet to make your life better and for you to make other people better is to what? Work on your what? Thinking. So today we're going to talk about debt. Boys and girls, sisters and brothers, men and women. Today we're talking about leverage, debt, how to get out of debt. Now think about this. I was talking to this young doctor from Texas, smart. She's got a job, man. This girl making over $200,000. She said, she ain't going out there buying no fancy cars. She ain't doing none of that. She said, Mr. Henderson, my aunt told me to come to you, and I am listening. And by golly, she is listening. Everything I done told that young lady to do, she said, I'm listening. She is thinking. Boy, I tell you. And when I say saving her money, she's saving her money. Most people have this kind of thought. Think about this. See if you know anybody like this. Matter of fact, I was talking to Tavares. I don't know who he is. Tavares been working there for 8 years. Tavares says, Henderson, before he started working here, he said anything he had left over, he felt was his to have a good time and enjoy when he was working. He said, I said, you know what? God, I said, that is a thought. I said, a lot of people, regardless of their race, color, creed, a lot of people feel like that. And I want y'all to see if y'all think about this. A lot of your sisters and brothers and some of y'all, imagine having your overhead expense, let's say it's $3,000 a month. It's your overhead expense, $3,000 a month. And all of a sudden you look and you say, oh my God, I bring in $4,000 a month after taxes. So now you bring in $4,000 a month, but your overhead expense, everything you got to pay only comes to $3,000. A lot of y'all feel rich. Y'all like, oh my God, I got $1,000 every month. Oh man, I'm going to splurge. I'm having a good time. I can travel. I can do everything. And that's how you grow up thinking. And you feel like life is good. You're bringing in $4,000 after taxes a month. Your overhead is $3,000. So you feel like you got to find something to do with that $1,000. You got to go buy you some jewelry, some purses, go out and eat, whatever. And you feel like that. You're not thinking.
Yes, you are, but you're not thinking as you ought to think.
Jane, so many people get caught up into that when they say after their bills, after everything, they got this money, they feel like, okay, I need to go and spend this. I need to go. This is my luxury. I am okay. I'm satisfied. No, you not. Who you been talking to? You behind the cost of living. You behind. You need to have that extra $1,000 to catch up because they're already not paying you what you worth.
Ooh,
and you
whoa, Rob. You just slapped everybody. What you mean, Robert? They're not paying you what you worth. What you mean? What you explain that? Explain that.
Well, if they hire you, they can't pay you exactly what you worth. They gotta get some leverage. In other words, it's like me. Listen, if you fishing and you fishing and you catch a little brim, how you gonna catch a big fish with the same size fish? You got to have your thought. If you're trying to get more, you can't take a little brim to catch another brim. You kind of use that worker to get more money, to get something bigger. So when they hire you, you better produce to bring something more money in. Otherwise, they don't get rid of you. If you a fish and you can't bring in more money, a bigger fish, you ain't no good to no business owner. You got to be able to produce something bigger than you. If I'm paying you $50,000 a year, damn it, you better be bringing in $200,000 a year. Because why would I get you a little fish and pay you $70,000 a year and all you gonna bring in another 70? No. That's even. I ain't making no money. That don't make business sense. Now, I broke that down in the metaphor.
Rob, I asked management one time. I said, and you know what I do? I always put it on station email. I said, call general manager, local sales manager. I said, can you pull up last year's thing? How much money do you earn during my 5 hours on the radio? Rob, you think they answered me?
Did they ever tell you?
Did you tell me?
No, they ain't gonna tell you. Hey, Jane, that's like a fisherman putting a little brim on the pole, say, now I'm gonna use it to get a minute. And the fish say, well, you gonna put me back on this hook? How big a fish you gonna catch? Fisherman say, don't you matter, you just got there.
You just go out.
You just go out there and let me and get ate up to bring me a big fish.
Robert, again, going back to your point of making value, but I just want I want us to think, man, we are valuable to that company when you are producing beyond, and when you really go beyond, because it's important for them to take a good look at, okay, what's your value, what's this, and of course they're never going to negotiate with you based on what your true worth to them would be, what we would call being fair. I don't even know what fair is when it comes to something like that.
Well, you think about athletes. That's why they need agents, because the athlete just play. I remember Steph Curry, who playing for the NBA basketball, and he played for the Golden State Warriors. When he came in and he really started shining, he was the lowest paid on the whole starting five. Everybody made more money than him, but he had an agent to tell him what his worth was. And then he put up, man, he produced. He was making them baskets and all that. Then become the highest paid. See, and why would they pay him this amount of money? And then as he produced, they have to pay him that amount of money, more money, because he was like a bait. He's bringing in more. And when the agent told him, man, with you being on this team, more people are coming to the game, which means more people are watching, which means the team is winning, which means the owner's making more money. So in order to keep you, the owner got to pay you more money.
Oh, hey, and if you don't, what you do is you pack up
and go somewhere else. Who's gonna pay you more money? Your worth.
I'm on the market,
right?
See,
that's
I'm
right.
On the market, and I can but when you can guarantee people increase in value, as Mr. Henderson will tell you he can do, if you will come in and be honest about where you are, he can show you ways. The Henderson Financial Group will take what you think is little, or you may think it's a lot. But the one thing they can do is they can add what more? Am I correct, Mr. Anderson?
Always give you more value than you even thought you had. And that's what you want to do. Okay, so today we're talking about debt. So we talked about what is good debt. Good debt is using what you have, but you gotta have something. So good debt is using what you have to get more. Okay. Bad debt goes against you. When I gave you the example of Elon Musk, they say he took out a loan, he borrowed $50 million, they charged him 5%. And then he took their $50 million, they're charging him 5%. And he took their $50 million, not his money, and put it in investment, and the investment paying him 20%. So now he's making 20% and they charging him 5%. So he got a 15% profit. When you look at that concept, I want y'all to look, because today we thinking. So when you look at that concept and you understand what I just said, it's the beginning of wisdom. Why do I say that? Because that same concept where Mr. Musk took $50 million and borrowed it from someone and they charged him 5%, he took their money and he put it over here, and this entity was paying him 20% for borrowing the 50,000. So he made 20%. He owes them 5%. So he profits 15%. Just by understanding that, that gives you a window into the banking industry. That gives you a window to understanding debt, the credit card industry. That gives you a window to understand what side are you on. Are you with the 5% return, or are you the 20% return investment? You should be able to look at everything you do and see what side are you on. Now, understanding what I just said, let's use that same metaphor, that same concept, and talk about the banking industry. And then we're going to slide into the credit card industry and talk about bad debt. Okay, so with that understanding, borrowing low, taking that money and putting it somewhere that's going to pay you higher interest. And since you have a loan on it at 5%, you get 15% profit, you good. That's smart. You genius. That's wisdom. How does that work in the banking industry? When millions and millions of law-abiding citizens, good people, God-fearing people, they put $10,000 or $1,000 or $100,000. Some people got more than that. One guy came in here, he said he got $1 million in the bank. Now, he took $1 million and he put it into the bank. The bank pays him less than 1%. The bank takes his $1 million and lends it out to 100 different, lends it 10 times. In other words, in the banks, the U.S. banking rule says whatever you deposit in a bank or a credit union, the bank could act like you. They can act like you on the paper. They can say that you put in 10 times that amount. So now they can lend out to other people. So in other words,
10 million.
That's right. So if you have $1 million, if you have $1 million in the bank can put on their ledger in their books that they have $10 million on the books to lend. They can stretch it to loan. So now somebody come in there and say they need $100,000, the bank gonna charge them, 10% on that money. You come in there because you got a Bank of America, a Wells Fargo, or whatever credit card, and they charge you 29 or 18%. Same money that they're paying that young man who got the $1 million, they're paying him 1% or less. They're using his money to make more money. In other words, they're using his fish to get bigger fish and getting the whole time. In the banking industry, what if you got one fish, $1, they let you act like you have $10. So you can get 10. Oh man, you can make a lot of money. That's why the bank got them pretty buildings, some big old large buildings. You know what I mean? And the credit card, oh my God, when you have a credit card and they tell you, come in this store, you can get 10%, 20% off that dress if you sign up for this credit card. You saying, oh my God, you think you doing something? No, they doing something because they get ready to charge you 18%, 29% on that credit card, even though you don't need it. But some of y'all said y'all gonna pay it off at the end of the month, but you missed that month and you don't pay it off and they charge you 29%. That's leverage. That's bad debt. Bad debt is when the interest is paid. You're paying the interest and you getting killed. Think about it. And just think about the banks for a second. If I told you to lend me $100,000 and all I'm going to pay you is 1% for the whole year, you would say, Mr. Henderson, you crazy. But that's what you're doing when you put the money in the credit union and when you put the money in the banks. That's what you're doing. And the system that we live in think you crazy. That's why the system that we live in don't have a whole lot of respect for non-thinkers. They only have respect for shrewd thinkers, smart thinkers. They give smart thinkers money. I was looking at my American Express corporate card, and I looked at it, and it says you can put it just put a number here and see how much you qualify for. And I was on the computer, James, and I said, okay. I put in there. I said, okay. On my card that I already have, I says, James, I say, okay, what if I need? But what if I go and I need $50,000 with this card to buy anything? Will they approve it? Yes. I said, okay. Then I put in there. I said, okay. What about 100,000? If I go somewhere right now and I put this card in, will they approve it? They said, yes.
Yes.
I did. I said, you
Stop,
trying to
stop, Rob, stop, Rob.
card, I take this, James.
Stop, Rob. Oh, see,
200,000, James. It said I can take that
yes.
card and 200,000. I can just walk out. You know.
Hey, Rob, but you say they think we crazy? No, they know we crazy.
Evidence. We doing it.
Right.
We doing it. We showing them.
And we'll pay that minimum. We think we're really getting over. Like you said, you get that 10%, 20%, 30% discount on that outfit, dress, whatever it is. And you turn around and at the end of the month, because you have several others as well, that, different cards, or you purchase more items on there, you're saying, well, I'm going to the DR, I'm planning a vacation for the Thanksgiving holidays. So, or I'm going out of the country. So I'm just going to pay the minimum for the next, for this month. What do you know what you really paid for that dress or that item that you thought you were getting a 30% discount on? And hey, I don't know if we don't, like you said, if we don't think, or if we really just saying, I don't care.
Yes.
I'm gonna live for the weekend. OJ.
That's right. So yeah, so let me get back to that because I missed that. Let me tell you. So most people, James, believe it or not, most people who are not rich or wealthy, or people who are not thinking about their money, here's a guy after his gross pay that they deposited every month into his checking account is $4,000. His overhead expense, light bill, telephone bill, everything is $3,000. He feels so good that he has $1,000 every month for his lifestyle, to enjoy, to take vacations. And he's been doing that for a long time. He's been spending that $1,000 a month that he feels really good, like he's made it. He's spending his future dollars, his future lifestyle now. You can't do that. When you always got to pay yourself first. You always got to, in that situation, he has $1,000 extra. He's got to take some of that money and plant it into the seed. In other words, he got to use that like a little small fish to make more fishes for the future. He's got to be able to plant. He needs some money to buy plant. He needs some money to buy seeds, put in fertile ground so it will grow. He needs to have an investment, a growth plan, so it will be there 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where he said, oh my God, I planted this crop, this money, I used this money and did this investment. Now look what it has done. You always got to be planting. You can't take what you have as surplus and have a good time, because you will always be a day late and a dollar short. You will always be. You always be. When you understand how debt work, bad debt, you don't want to have no part of it. And let me tell you something. I want all of you all take out your calculators when you get a chance. There's a rule where you can see how they look at you, the system. It's a rule of 72. You take 72 divided by the interest that you're paying or the interest that you're getting. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that, and that tells you that tells you how your money's working for you or working against you. Okay, so take 72. Take 72 divided. Let's say somebody's charging you 10%. You're paying 10%. You take 72, you divide it by 10%. That comes to 7.2 years. So if you borrow $10,000 and somebody is paying you, and somebody is charging you 10%, that means every 7 years you've paid $10,000. So that money is you're going to pay them twice. It doubles in 7 years. So if you have an investment and it's paying you 10%, that means that 72 divided by 10, every 7 years, your money going to double. That's it. So you say, okay, listen, I got $10,000. I'm going to put it into this investment. They're paying me 10%. You know, in 7 years, that $10,000 is going to be worth $20,000. That's it. Now, you got that? It's 72 divided by the interest that you're earning. What y'all fail to do is do it on the flip side, because either you getting got or you be the one getting, or you being got. So it's 72 divided by that 29% interest that they're charging you from credit cards. So if you go in there and you owe $5,000 on a credit card and you paying the minimum $50, $75, even $100, that means that you owe $5,000. That means every 2.4 years, you owe them $5,000 more. Yes. It doubles every 2.4 years.
I had 2.88. Yeah, but
72 divided by 29 is 2.48.
Wait, okay.
All right. That's it. That is it. So if you have $20,000 in the bank and they paying you 1%, 72 divided by 1%, shit. 72.
Right.
That'd take you 72 years for that to double. 72 years. That is something. Lord have mercy. Lord help us. This is financial literacy. This is real financial literacy. This is real understanding how money works. That's why you can't get ahead. That's why people working 9 to 5 saying, man, and then listen. Oh my God, this just hit me. The cost of living in the system averages 3%. What does that mean? That means every year, things and stuff that you use and need for your daily living, every year, the cost goes up. You can't see it, 3%. So if you have your money invested getting 1%, you're losing 2% a year. Because the things and stuff, from bread to gas to rent to everything. Just think about if you want to go buy a house right now, they're charging you 7%, 6.5%. Okay. Let's talk about that. Remember the rule of 72. I want y'all to use the rule of 72. As soon as they start talking about interest rates, whether you pay in or pay. So rule of 72 divided by, let's say, 7%. That means every 10 years you paying. If you go buy a house for $400,000 and they charge you 7%, that means you paying for that house every 10 years. You paying double for that house. So if you pay $400,000 in 10 years, you don't pay. it's in 10 years that 400,000. It's 800,000. Another 10 years, that's another 400,000. It's crazy, but that's because they have not taught us math. They haven't taught us how the system works. That's why so many people living paycheck to paycheck, and then the employer is not paying you because you don't even know that you don't even know what's going on. Because the most important thing to most people is what? Is to feel good. And long as they got you feeling good and laughing and giggling and dancing and watching the shows and paying that money and smelling good, you ain't thinking. Oh Lord, I'm coming down too hard. Oh man, boy, sometimes truth hurts, man. Jesus Christ. Okay, all right.
But nobody is putting anything in chat. I don't believe that, Rob. Join the chat.
Oh,
What are you hearing? What are you thinking?
this Halloween. It's Halloween. It's
What
scary.
what do you want him to go back over for you? Say, "Wait,
Oh,
wait, come on. Somebody
gee.
on there gotta have a question,
No,
Rob."
this scary. It's scary, man. It's Halloween, man. It's scary, man. Okay. All right. So listen. There's a strategy here at the Henderson Financial Group that we use, and it's leveraging. You save money. We put it into an assured account. Whatever you save, we look at your debt from housing, cars, credit card, student loans. The more money you save, the more money we can use your savings to leverage it to pay off your debt. So the more you save, the quicker your debt is going to be paid off using other people's money. And then once you pay it all off, you have a pile of money that's tax-free. Woo, Lord, y'all don't hear me. I'm telling y'all, there are things that you can do that you don't even know that you don't even know that you can do because ain't nobody telling you, because for them to tell you, that means they can't take advantage of you no more. They'd rather show you a movie or a comedy show or whatever. I don't know what you're laughing at, though. It's, people.
Rob, someone just
man.
said define over leveraging and how to reverse it.
Define over
Over
leveraging.
leveraging. What do you mean? Oh, I'm missing that one. Help
Well,
me with that.
okay. When you say define over leveraging, you really can't over
Yeah.
leverage if the math is mathing. In other words, if you borrow at 5% and you take the borrowed money and getting 20%, you could do that all day long. That's not over leveraging. Now, when you're doing that, if you borrow at 5%, you take that money and put it somewhere where you're getting 20%, that's good. But that 15% that you are getting, if you go shopping with it,
Oh,
then you ain't doing nothing. You blowing it. You doing all that for nothing. You got to take that to create cash flow. Because now
wow.
you got to be, that 15% one day has to be enough that if you want to just pay off that loan, you can pay off that loan.
And creating
That's
multiple
one
sources
way.
of income. Because you can take that 15% profit and create another source of income.
Yes. 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 See, every month, like when I get money, listen, y'all wouldn't even imagine, y'all can't even imagine how low I live in terms of the money that I make versus how much I spend. See, people have asked me all the time, why I ain't riding around in Rolls Royce. I don't care nothing about no Rolls Royce. I care about that. I don't understand why y'all do. Nothing but a car. We all gonna die. You know, you. I'd rather travel and see something or do something, another experience. That's what I would do. And let me tell you something. When you black in America, ain't nowhere in the world you should be spending all your money, because they can come for you anytime you want to. A lawsuit will walk you. Man, the IRS will tear your butt up. I'm gonna tell you something. You're supposed to be always packing, and I'm not talking about pack. Well, however you want to be. I ain't just talking about weapons. I'm talking about packing money. You got to have enough green to cover your black, and if you don't have enough FU money, you got to continue to work. I still love doing what I do, and I help people, but I save more money than you can even imagine. When I say save, I invest. I don't just save it under the mattress. I put it somewhere where it can continue to make more money. Money has to continue making more money.
Well,
That's
hey,
it.
my friend from New York, I love this brother, and we've been talking and so forth. He just wrote, I'm waiting for the detailed information on what I initially need to do. How much should I pay myself, and where do I start putting my money in? That, ooh, hey, and would it be a Roth account? Come on, wait, no,
Okay.
see, wait, Rob. First of all, let's go back, because they probably missed what you said in the beginning. We all have something. So you start with whatever you have that's above and beyond what your monthly need is. That's the first thing that you're going to look at. That you have that Plus, hey, in our business, we have side hustles. you know, as Robert even talks about, hey, everybody shouldn't have just a job. You know, you should have other investments, or you should have other things that we are gifted to do. And looking at that giftedness and it producing or money, now this is the money that you say, okay, Henderson Financial Group, here's what I need to know. Where do I start with this? But it just doesn't start with your saying, what can I get returned on the monies that I put in? It's taking, as Robert said, they take a full look at who you are, where you are, what your goals are. That's what financial planning is about. And I was going to say earlier, Robert, when you made the statement, when you talk about, you keep talking about the people don't understand. It's planning, that thinking and planning. If you thinking, you should start planning and you should seek quote unquote information as to
Yes.
how you should go about it. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Henderson, you can
So
take that.
so let me get right to the point for Lenny Green. So Lenny, at the minimum, at the bare minimum, you don't really love yourself that much, but you got signs of it if you save 10% of your money. Okay, so in other words, if you make $100,000 a year, man, you should be saving 10,000. Now listen, when I say saving 10,000, I'm talking about that you can control liquidity that you have access to. Now, just because you put in the 401k, that's a sucker's game anyway. Okay, but we'll talk about that another time. So if you're making $100,000 at the minimum, you're supposed to be saving at least $833 a month. That's $10,000 a year. At the minimum, you'll be really liking yourself and feel good about yourself if you can do at least 20%. So if you're making $100,000, if you can save at least $20,000, which is $1,607 a month. And some people, I'm gonna tell you something. I have told some people that make $400,000. I said, listen, man, I need you to save $3,000 a month. They go, what? I ain't never did that in my life, Mr. Henderson. Because their mindset, they're not accustomed to that. They're not accustomed to loving themselves and planting seeds and getting ahead. When you save that money, it ain't going down the drain. That's your future money. You like a squirrel that's not eating all your nuts. So when wintertime come, i.e. when they kick you out and fire you or lay you off, you got something to lay back on. You always got to. Man,
and Rob, I got to say this too. We get confused on saving, meaning that you just putting it away so nobody can get it. No. Don't get that thinking that saving means, because that's a lot of people. That's why they put it in the bank. Oh, I ain't gonna let nobody rob me. Oh, come on, man. You're getting robbed every day. yeah. They just don't put a gun to your head and rob you. But
hey, listen, when I look at savings, I have a visual of
right
me planting an oak tree, or better yet, me planting a tree. And that tree, man, it probably take 20 years, man, for it to grow up, give me shade, and bear fruit where I can eat off of it. And it's gonna last. And when rain come, hurricane come, it ain't gonna blow down because the roots. But it takes a while, and that TIME is good, and you got time. Do something good to time. So to get to Lenny's point, first of all, if you could save 20%, and all of us could, we really could. You just think you can't. You got 2 cell phones, you got all them cable TVs and all that direct TV stuff that's just ain't helping you. You're spending a lot of money weekend, and don't even talk about going to South Beach because them people crazy. They charge you a whole bottle. Oh my God, I wouldn't be insulted like that. The prices that they charge you, and you going for it, and you make yourself feeling good. No. You love yourself by paying yourself and creating wealth for yourself and your family. That's how you do it, because you're gonna get old, and you got to be able to have something. So when they kick you out, lay you off, or you quit, you can have enough assets, money circulating to take care of you. That's the goal. You always gotta have a plan just in case they come. How you gonna eat? You got to. You can't keep telling me I got this job and they love me. Nobody loves you more than you should be loving yourself. And you should be paying yourself more than you can even imagine. You're supposed to be stretching yourself. Okay, so that's the first question. Minimum 20%. Figure it out. Get rid of some trash. If you can get to 30%, oh man, you really go. You doing it.
And the key is while you are quote unquote planning and saving through investments of that money is making money. It's not just sitting there.
No, it got to be invested. I invest my money. My money got to be invested, and I ain't talking about no crazy stocks and stuff. It's the other stuff that you get guaranteed. I can tell you. I can tell you about some stuff where you cannot lose a dime, and you can get stock market returns, but you cannot lose a dime. It's a way to actually get stock market returns, but never lose, and your values never go down, and you have access to the money.
Oh.
But you got to qualify for it. You got to you're dealing with insurance strategies. It's not just death insurance, it's other kind of strategies. Okay, and I'll tell you about that. Okay, now he asked a question about the Roth. Okay, Lindy, I do like the Roth. I don't like them traditional IRAs and 401ks because they get you. It's a Trojan horse. The washer don't get you to rinse the wheel. They make you feel like you're doing something for you, but the IRS later on they're gonna tear your butt up, and if you die, they're gonna tear their butt up. They're gonna get them taxes and more. Okay, so there's something that we call that's a super Roth, Lenny, that you can put money in it that don't limit $6,000 or $7,000. You can put in $10,000 or $20,000 a year, and there's a way for it to be tax advantage. Tax advantage means that when you take it out, you don't never pay any taxes. So see me, give me a call, and I'll tell you about that one. It's a lot of things that you didn't know that you didn't even know that you didn't know that's on the planet. It's a lot of things that you don't know. If you don't know everything, I don't know everything. That's why I continue to read and study, because every time I learn something, I go, oh my God, I wish I knew that last year.
Frank is asking, what are the benefits of an annuity?
Okay, Frank, the benefits of the annuity is guaranteed that you don't run out of money. It gives you a stream of income. That's an investment that you put money in. You can put money in monthly, or you can put lump sum money in. But the whole benefit of an annuity is that you don't have to worry about losing your principal, volatility, stock market, but it's going to pay you a stream of income every month, every quarter, every year, however you set it up. When you think about an annuity, think about a pension, but your pension. And think about annuity, think about the way Social Security works. When you get a certain age, they pay you X amount. But if you wait, if 62, they pay you this amount. If you take Social Security at 65, they pay you that amount. If you take Social Security at 67, they pay you that amount. If you take it at 70, they pay you more. So annuity, when you put money in there and you defer and wait, the older you get, when you turn on that payout, you pay you more. The same concept as Social Security, but you control it, not the government. But it's the same strategy. It's the same concept. You cannot lose. You don't have to worry. When you have money coming to Social Security, you don't care about what happened in Egypt or Middle East. That money gonna be that money gonna be bank deposit every month. That's how the annuity is. So you gotta have some. You gotta put some in, and later on let it be in the crock pot. So later on, 5, 10, 20 years, it can, if you didn't start off with a lump sum, you want to build it. You got to build it, and then you can have it automatically. This money going into your annuity every month. $500. It's better. I like it way better than government finance, government retirement plans, where you got handcuffs to tell you what to do, what you can't do, and all that kind of stuff. Now, wealthy people don't like dealing with the government, what you can't do, and all that kind of stuff, and penalize you and all that silly stuff with your own money. So there's strategies that's out there. Man, we don't know.
Right. And Rob, the other thing too is most of us don't know that we've had some programs. If you go back, I don't know what dates they were or whatever, but was rolling out of those plans that you have on your workplace to let your money do more for you, and you're having more access to the money that you have.
Yeah, it's right. I got to get Tracy Thompson says, is real estate better than annuity? Well, Tracy, that's like saying is a fat girl better than a skinny girl. Some people like fat girls, man. Some people love them, man. You know what I mean? Some people like skinny girls, man. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go, and what makes you feel better. I'm sorry, but yeah, Tracy, they're different. They have different. That's like Tracy. That's like saying, is a quarterback better than a running back? I don't know. I don't know. Or is the quarterback better than the receiver? I don't know. Or is the defense better than the offense? What would you say, James? If I say, is the defense better than the offense? What would you say, James?
Rob, here's what I would say. You need both of them to win.
That's right. That's an excellent answer, James.
That's how I say it. Rob, that's why we do both. I deal with you.
Casey, I have both. I have real estate and annuity. James gave you a perfect answer.
Yeah, you need both of them to win. You need both. You know, but again, it don't please. I don't want people to think it's one of them. Oh, there it is. No, it takes planning.
There's no one bullet.
Yeah, it takes planning. You really want to open up first to yourself to know where you are, because if you don't know where you are, there's no way you can determine where you're going.
The GPS, baby.
So what you do is to contact the Henderson Financial Group. Hey, let them know what your thoughts are, and see when I have an idea or whatever, when Robert and I may be discussing something, hey, I always tell him, hey, this is my thought. Hey, I want to know what you think. You know,
that's wisdom.
Come on. You know, I'm dealing in his thing. I may have an idea, but here's the real key. And this is going to lead us into our prayer because our time is up. And that is, oh my goodness, what we must do is trust the Lord thy God with all thy heart and lean not to our own understanding, but in all our ways acknowledge him, and he will make our path straight. Now that thing of trusting, a lot of times we want to say, well, I'm going to pray to God, but I want to tell God what I want. That's a double-mindedness. And if you want to read, I'm the book of James. If you want to read those 5 chapters, it'll tell you about double-mindedness. But what you really want to do is people used to ask me, James T, what's a good time, to start investing? And I ask, what time is it? Right now it's 10:07. The time is now. And you need to call Henderson Financial Group so that you can get started. You know, hey, whether you're quarterback, running back, whether you're lineman or whatever, if you don't get in the game, hey, you watch other people win.
That's right. And let me tell you something, James saying, everybody that's listening, hearing, or seeing, watching what we say, I want you to think about what I'm about to say. Life is a team sport. I want to say it again. Your life is a team sport. Who's on your team? Nobody goes through life without having a good team. You got to have a team. Whether you got a bad team or a good team, that's advisors. That's people to help you. That's thinkers. We all have to have a good team. And if you have a team and ain't nobody know nothing, you need to get yourself a good team. You change team. And you definitely need to come to the Henderson Financial Group. Let me see how to get there. 305-825-1444. Let me say that again. Area code 305-825-1444. You can also go on our website and check us out. And you can actually put in your information, and it's called a confidential questionnaire that'll come directly to me. Nobody else needs to know. It comes directly to me. You can put in your stuff, and everything is confidential. We're like lawyers, fiduciaries. Okay? You know what I mean? You may know James T, but I can't tell James T none of your business, like I ain't going to tell you none of James T business. All right? It's called confidential. I've been doing this for 30-some years. I ain't telling nobody nothing. Not even my wife, none of them. Go to our website at gotta put in the Henderson Finance. We are we're not just Henderson Finance. We are the Henderson Finance Group, the Henderson Finance Group. So go on the website and put in www.thehendersonfinancialgroup.com. And we got a plethora of information. Plus, you can sign up and put your information in there, and it'll come right to me. You can set up a Zoom, a GoToMeeting, a conference call. You ain't got to drive. We got clients all over the country. Man, Chicago, LA, Atlanta, Dallas, Milwaukee, just everywhere. And guess what? We got black, white, Spanish. When people trying to get knowledge and information, they don't care if it comes from a frog. As long as you can tell me what to
Hermit.
do. Hey, James, we need prayer, brother. We need prayer. Hey, James, first of all, we got a sister that locally sister, man, that passed away. We made a transition.
That's what I was waiting for the end to bring it up. Yes, a special thought, special prayers go out to just all family, friends, loved ones of a young lady that I known. I don't know how many years. Jill Tracy passed away yesterday, and when I got the call, Rodney called me around 2 o'clock to let me know. And believe it or not, Rob, I had sent her a message. Yesterday, and I think she was on social media just the day before. So, excuse me. So, for those of us that are hearing this message or listening to what Rob and I were talking about today, but I have to share with you. I believe that there's two things that you put nothing above or between in our life, and that's God and ourselves with our health, spiritual and physical. Because I think without those two things, there's nothing you can do for anyone else. So Jill, was a person who loved what she did. We all. I remember when I told her she was in Atlanta, and she was trying to make a transition. I said, "Hey, you were known here in South Florida. You're known here in South Florida. Come back, and we'll get you started." And so we came back. We had a meeting on Biscayne Boulevard in Miami, and I said, "Hey, I'll do what I can to get you back into the arena." And from there, she helped a lot of people, community minded. So we pray that she rests in peace. So, and in closing, Father God, we thank you for the love that you have given to us and shown us. And we pray that you will help us to better love ourselves, and recognizing that you have a plan, you have a purpose, and you have a promise to us. And you have said to us that if we will call upon you and call you out on your promise, that you would open up the windows of heaven and pour out blessings that we will not have room enough to hold, not to have overflow to throw away, but to have overflow so that we could be a blessing to others. So I pray that you would touch our hearts, that we may bless others, which will glorify you and will help them to become a blessing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let the church say amen. Thank you so much. Hey, listen, y'all. I want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I also want you to remember what I said about the rule of
72.
Use that. You can calculate. You need to be a math genius. Just put in a calculator, put in 72 divided by the interest rate. If you receive and you want to know when your money going to double, it will tell you. Just put in 72 first and put in what interest rate, and it'll tell you when your money will double. If you're getting 3%, and do like 72 divided by if inflation is 3%, so do 72 divided by 3%. That means it's 24. That means every 24 years, if your standard of living, what you need is $5,000 a month. And 24 years, that $5,000 a month need to look like $10,000 a month. So that's the rule of 72. Divide 72 by the interest rate that you're being charged. That lets you know how much money you're gonna be paying the people twice. Okay, if you receiving 72 divided by how much your money gonna double. That's why we know every 24 years, if inflation is going at 3%, that's standard. That's normal. It was just high, 9%. They got it back down to around 3%. But if inflation is 3%, if you divide 72 by 3%, you know that your cost of living, it's gonna double. In other words, if a stamp costs 70, if it's right now, if a stamp, you go to the post office and they say a stamp costs 73 cents, you know that in 24 years, it's going to double. We know that. That's how much a postal stamp. Can you believe that? So I'm just telling you the future right now. So if you got 72, if 72 divided by 3% inflation, that means a 73 cent postal stamp. Oh my God! In 24 years, it's gonna be $1.46 for postal.
Rob. But what I really love for you to do is hit them with that 18, because that credit card is hurting a
70,
lot of people.
oh my God.
72 by what's the average credit? I don't even know what
72
what's the average rate.
divided by 72 divided by 18 means that it doubles your payments. In other words, you owe every 4 years. It doubles. At 18%, it doubles every. So if you're getting 18%, your money gonna double every 4 years. If you paying 8%, you could be done paid twice every 4 years.
So you're not getting a deal. But with and I know everybody thinks they get a bargain because they can get that card and get it now. But you don't really know what you're paying, because
the advertising is more strong than what you can say, bro.
Okay. All right, let's go. Hey,
that's force is strong. They can't hear you, James.
Right, okay.
that advertising force is strong. Let the church say, man. Hey,
I surrender.
Let go, let God. All right, we'll talk to y'all later. Thank you so much for joining in. Peace, love, and one love. Gotta go.